one session of day 1. Hope you feel more energetic now. So now we'll be proceeding for tutorial 1. Tutorial 1 will be based on the lectures that we have seen in the morning. So I request Dr. Manoj Kumar kindly come on the dais and move forward to the tutorial.
Good afternoon, everybody, and apologies for being late. So let us have some discussion on how we organize the real experimental work, and then we have some cross interaction. We discuss about the cell structure, cell protein. I will talk about the procedure protocol, slightly modified from the protocol. Which was instruction and simplification of 11S the major constituent of soy protein. We traditionally use substrate extraction to defat it, and hexane is used to defat the material. When you plant materials have liquid content, interface with protein functionality of the protein system. Many protocols have been designed. The idea is to have in the industrial scale what is the practice of protein purification. If you look at the column chromatography, it is traditionally used in your lab, you're doing purification and scaling up, biofermentation is a different process here. So you can get this way of flour. One slide I'm discussing about how soya flour, the flow chart of the soya protein isolate, soya protein concentrate, or all of the varieties of soya protein. The flour content of protein is basically around 52%. Moisture is roughly 6 to 7% in the account. The drivers, okay. And that's the nitrogen conversion. The protein purification, what we did. You have a ratio, molar ratio of protein to water here. You get the diffracted slope here. I said how you can do it in the lab. Then you resuspend in that, and then this is basically isoelectric precipitation I covered in that first lecture. So when in industrial scale, we produce soya protein, they go by this method, isoelectric precipitation. So once the suspension is there, so room temperature, you mix it thoroughly. You can do in cold room. People do it in cold room. It is basically heat active, susceptible to enzymes. Purification protocol is that. So when in industrial scale you produce, they have big tank, and then the suspensions are there, and the suspension vegetation is going on. You set the room temperature and calibrate it to that, and then you take out the supernatant and you centrifuge it. Then you do acidic precipitation by slowly adding 1 molar hydrochloric acid, and that is being doing at 40 centigrade. Okay. So the bottom phase, you got the precipitant. You wash with milk water, then you freeze dry. When you freeze dry, you get the 11S soy protein. Basically, we talked about globulin is by Osman classification is a salt soluble protein. 2S albumin is water soluble. You already know. I will not discuss about the how Osman fractionation is there. If anybody interested in, can email me. I can send you how to do the Osman fractionation. I directly talk with you source the soya flour. Soya flour is readily available. You have specification. You can do a moisture content analysis by a moisture analyzer, or if you have Carl-Fisher method, you can do the moisture analysis, basically done in triplicate, or another method is oven-dried method. You can do any of the method that is available. That all similar. Basically, Carl-Fisher method is frequently used nowadays. You need minute amount of sample. The idea is that some of the most expensive biologically active protein like collagen, elastin, other protein, myosin, those protein expensive protein, we cannot use the oven-dried method where quantities are in grams. So in this condition, when you have microkelvin method is used to protein conversion rate is 6.5, you can see the protein we got is 96% protein. It's a good recovery of protein content is there. Basically, we'll have fat and other some fiber content. When you read the specification sheet in the MSDS, you must assess the MSDS before starting this experiment. I have not put the MSDS, that is the general practice in the material safety data sheet. So you all are well versed with that. So, and then in the built-in homogeneity, you can do electrophoresis. You do lab and chip or capillary electrophoresis or general leveling method, you do whatever way. So the electrophoresis result will say that the quaternary structure. So this is a method that we use to purify the soya glycinate. And another slide I was showing about how the gel is looking. When you talk to case studies, because this is a practical asset purification. If I mix those results, it will be duplicating those ones and repeating. But I'll mention where there you can always refer back to your lecture notes. Then you can find the data is there. So this is the idea. Now we'll discuss about how this protein is for this for soy protein. When we are designing an experiment, soy protein isolate or soy protein concentrate, another flow chart is there. You can always cross check and then this is for relevance. Any questions you can discuss. One of the flies over here, maybe it's called Australian sun, so maybe I came to Australia, they find those. So if people are doing like this, you might be seeing somebody giving an interview, they're constantly doing like this and that. This is known as Australian salad. One fly is doing like that. Any of the questions can be related to your current purification protocol. I know you have standardized protocol. It's better to always to study the literature before planning your experiment. You don't have to spend a lot of time on experimenting on the real in the lab. You already have been doing that. So I don't want to interfere in that and suggest something which might not be directly relevant to you. So if you have something in mind that where I can give my input, that better. Because I will not never divert you from a present plan of work to another experimental set of work. But certainly I can discuss, give some light or suggest something which can be helpful to you in an experimental design or how to set up. But the idea is that when you get the protein, it's soy protein here. So when you get the protein, then we have the characterizing technology, whether we do differential scanning capability or dynamic measurement, oscillator measurement, or you do the scanning electron microscope or microstructure, or we do transmission electron microscope. So any microscopic experiment or any spectroscopic measurement, whether it's vibrational spectroscopy, we are talking about epitomal Fourier transfer infrared spectroscopy, or we can do any of the dynamic light scattering. So any of the experiments, if you have in mind what you have been doing, so I can definitely have. Then the functionality, when you have the pure protein, so you can do function, whether you can have dilation, degradation, tag binding, all the properties we discussed. I will be talking about the sulfur content, hydrolysates measurement. When you publish a paper, when you write a paper, you have a pure system. Then your experimental design is that you got the protein, you characterize the protein, whether it's a secondary structural characterization, then is relate to structure to that function. That is called structure function relationship. Then you apply in the real food system. Then industry will take up that idea. When you have an application, like Dinesh was talking the other day, so his applications were aspect. Everybody has something in mind. So you apply that field analysis. So in that way, the industry takes up the concept, and then you can publish those papers in that way, and other people can take that work and go further. Okay, please.
So extracting the proteins is not actually only the glycerin that is the extract.
Yeah.
Okay, to really know how the proteins are.
Yeah.
Of course, the major content would be glycerin.
Yeah.
So do we have separate purification process, separate hydrolyzed glycerin to extract?
Yeah. The water which supernatant goes, water soluble protein is been taken out, that's albumin and fraction is gone. Then the method isolated point precipitate in that. That is the Rohtak fraction synthesis. If anybody is interested to have 4 different fractionation, so I can send an email, can write to me. I will send an email where you get 4 different fractions. Then you can say, I have water soluble albumin. This is a complete flow chart. Then you take the albumin, globulin, prolactin, glutein, all the protein are there. Since we will be discussing about the major protein here, then that's why I put only these two. Not confusing all the protocols and discussing all the proteins, but I can always email. You can set up any experiment like anybody can talk about lupin or any of the globular proteins, so you can implement that protocol. It's always valid for storage proteins only. Okay. From the morning section also, we can discuss if you have any doubt from the morning section. Whatever question in your mind, we can discuss.
Sir, there are certain people with gluten sensitivity, and what if we can hydrolyze gluten and give it to them? Will it be beneficial for them? And the sensitivity is it because of the enzyme, improper secretion of the enzyme, or because of the constituent amino acid in the gluten?
Okay, one of the students came from France when she worked with me on hydrolyzed gluten. She studied the effect of different ions, polyols, and other effects of. And then she used papain and bromelain. And then the interesting result is that if you take an hydrolyzed smaller fraction, definitely gluten is an allergenic protein like celiac disease. People have many who have like gluten-free level nowadays. They pay a premium price more 2 to 3 times higher than the normal product. So it's very difficult to get gluten-free products in the market. So the idea is to cleave the gluten and the ratio, and then the allergens are strongly reduced in that. So the small fractions, you use papain is from papaya, that enzyme is a plant-based enzyme, and then bromelain is from pineapple. That's plant-based enzyme, and we use both enzymes to cleave the gluten. And then small fragments we characterize it, structural, mechanical, functional, other properties, and how microenvironment work. Then we use what we studied. We found that the small fragments, the hydrolysates, can plasticize the native molecule. Means water is basically a plasticizer, because when you make chapati, I'll give an example. It has, they call it weak flour and strong flour. Strong flour and weak flour, like durum wheat, the pasta comes from durum wheat, different higher protein content, is very hard. Like we make al dente pasta, is to make it soft, it's very difficult, it's protein content high. You will make up the bread making, then protein to starch ratio is different. So in that case, you're doing hydration, you are adding water to the system. Then the protein and starch interaction takes place, and you are adding yeast and other things which retain the gas with expansion in the baking system. So it makes gluten makes a network. Gluten makes a network where starch goes inside it. So in that way, that gives a microstructure is developed. If there is no proper network of that, gluten network is not developed. Like if your chapati is not dough is not completely, it is not hydrated, not properly. You make the dough with proper water. So the elasticity of the dough will be different. The Farine graph experiment will tell that way. In how the low elasticity expansibility is happening. So you can set up a current graph experiment. The question is that when you use the hydrolyzer, that is an plasticizer. You mix with the native protein, then it will automatically chop down the original protein. So it's a working like water molecules. So in nature, water is a wonder molecule.
Sir, is there any role of yogurt management for vitamin protein hydrolysis?
Using protein hydrolyzed in yogurt.
No, yogurt management have any role in protein hydrolysis?
In?
Like lactobacillus, anything.
Yeah.
They have any role in protein hydrolysis?
Hmm.
Is there?
Well, okay, I'll come to how you manufacture yogurt. Yogurt is basically you are taking, in fact, I'll talk about the full fat yogurt, general yogurt. You take milk, then it's whatever milk comes from the farm, then you go for the checking this. Immediately, I will not talk about I will talk about the industry how they do it. So the milk comes, the pH and the coliform is measured. Once that pass, it will go to the side, milk side. If it fails, the sample is rejected. The sample is thrown back. Then it comes to pasteurization process. The pasteurization can be high temperature low tide or low temperature high tide. So now I'm not talking about long shelf life milk here. Then you pasteurize. So once we inactivate the box and denature the enzymes, then after the pasteurization, we are coming from the milk that has to be again goes to the heat exchanger. That will be holding, denaturing the whey protein. The whey protein and ASN molecules will network will form, and that will give the water holding capacity. Then the synersis means weighing off the water holding capacity will increase. When the protein is denatured, you get a best formula. In case of the core, you are using whole milk here. Whole milk has 3.some% of protein and 3.0% of fat. So full fat milk. Then you add, it's not an additive, you can add whey protein here. You can add a bioactive like whey protein hydrolyzed there. And whey protein will be priced, which is the premium product then. The consumer will never buy if you put a product 3 times higher, just claiming that we have whey protein hydrolyzed. But if somebody has some benefit, they will buy. The people have product like aloe vera has been blended with whey protein. Japan is marketing that. So then you add the base in the mixing. Then you denature the protein. Then yes, cream has been added into that. Then you hold for a certain time, like 15 minutes. Some people hold, some hold for 85 to 30 minutes. Then when the protein is completely denatured, you cool it down. So you can rapidly cool, you can blast cooling, or you can cool with a water circulate. That will come to 43 degrees. When it comes to 43 degrees, you have strains. So whether you are using thermophilic bacteria here, thermophilic bacteria is your lactobacillus, and then you are using streptococcus. So these two, the Gallica strain is there. So 2 strains you will be using. So the ratio you have to determine is basically 2% 1:1 ratio, depending on the fermentation. Then when you inoculate that, it has to inoculate from the fermentation experience. The fermentation process goes, it might depend on acidification curve is developed. The acidification point to start point is pH 4.3. pH 4.5 is the 4. Means pH will be 0.9. That's your pH. Other sources is 4.5. Means you have to stop the reaction at when pH is 4.5. So you parallelly run some experiments where you are holding this, the gel, so the fermentation product. Then you take out that from your chamber, then it goes through a blast cooling again. There's 2 stage cooling taking place. One is rapid cooling, another is cooling down to room temperature, then immediately cooling to 4 degrees centigrade. When it comes to cooling, that is enough. You start it, then you cool to 4 degrees. Then you cool to 4 degrees, then it goes to the cooling chamber. When it cooling chamber, when it's cooling, most of the aroma and flammable aldehydes, those kind of compounds come, the aroma and flavor markers. That determines your product. Because people will only take time, a second time they prefer to buy just texture, flavor, and aroma, and product application. So then, if there is a synthesis, then they will apply. So you have added the solid content, how the solid content is calculated, the equations. So you can add either skim milk powder, KSM, or you can have MSM, MSM calculations are there. How to design the Pearson equation, so that equation there, how to calculate. Then you go to the product is completely fermented. Second, the third day, the product comes to the your cooling room. That then it goes to product circulation. Again, this is the path.
So actually, I didn't get what you were discussing about gluten. So gluten is a wheat protein or a cereal-based protein which consists of diaryl glutamate, which is providing extensive weight and strengthening to the dough. So what was the main agenda you were getting? Like what you were telling to replace gluten from protein hydrolysates, or you were telling about the breakage of gluten by using propionate enzyme and glutamate enzyme?
No, I am talking about producing hydrolyzed out of the gluten using two of the enzymes.
How is it related to the gluten intolerance, celiac disease? And I did not get it.
No, tolerance, the antigenicity is basically the keto. When you break down into that, so the peptide doesn't have the same antigenicity level. So it's reducing the antigenicity, it's improving the diet model.
So basically, you were replacing from gluten like that.
Yeah, replacing.
So what can be used as a protein hydrolysates and what way only?
Which one?
In that those strengthening. Way can be used instead of gluten.
We can use instead of this protein can be whether you can use any protein you can use. People are basically industrial scale soya protein, whey protein, mostly used for sports nutrition they are using now. So other protein.
Anyways, the gluten will be present now. In wheat, gluten will be present. Or else you can replace the wheat from just millets, for example, millets are gluten free. So you can use rather millets instead of wheat or just replace gluten.
Yeah, we can. I didn't get the thing part last year, but sorry.
No, actually, I was telling sir, anyway, you are using wheat for dough development.
Yeah.
Right. So wheat may gluten will be there.
Mm.
Anyway, so how will you extract the gluten out of the wheat? Instead, we can replace millets from wheat.
Yeah.
Millets are gluten free, right?
Mm.
So instead of using wheat, we can use millets.
Yeah, products are developed in that way itself. Like some gluten-free products are basically made from that.
Again, structural proteins we also use for structural proteins like feathers, hairs, and that also we use.
Yeah, the people usually like I'm talking about in the poultry industry. Most of the retailers parts have they do acid extraction of that, and then we have pharmaceutical applications also there. That means like in the wool industry, some of the proline products they are using that way. They're extracting the protein. Like asparagus from the pigment is coming from seafood industry. So people are using also from the waste to how to make technology applicable to like one aspect, but then being applied in elsewhere also. Anything?
Doctor, I have a couple of questions. May not be directly related to what you had talked today. A general perception. We generally consider as we have been originated as a gardeners. We are never herbivores. Okay. So, when Dr. Shukla has asked a specific question that which is better, animal proteins or you can say plant proteins. So if you look in that context, all the malnutrition, undernutrition is because we are accepting or we are using that vegetarian diet. Because most of the plant proteins are having high molecular weight. And it's really difficult to digest in our gut system because our gut has not been developed, evolved in such a way that it can directly eat on the plant proteins. So what you are offering, like here, we are looking for the hydrolysates. So what we are doing hydrolysis, we are simplifying our digestion process, so it can be absorbed maximally. So what you will suggest that because our immunity is evolving and we are changing our diets as per our requirement, our ethics. So what is the best way to get rid of it? Just to go to hydrolysates or just go to our basic instinct?
You can have answer yourself. So
Yeah, I don't understand because now what we are doing, we are trying to hydrolyze the plant proteins. We are looking for commercial products.
yeah,
Okay. In the end, what we are doing, we are looking for the amino acids.
Yeah,
Because when we say the proteins, basically we are not taking that protein directly in our bloodstream. What we are doing, we are simply hydrolyzing it so that our biological requirement can be met in terms of muscle or whatever sexual component it is there. So instead of using this, so can't we directly educate the people that it's better that you go for the non-vegetarian diet because your system has been developed and you can easily digest these other animal products.
no, that is always preference. So it's like demographically the diet is changing.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the positioning it of products is consumer preference based. That's why we're talking about how product is designed. So if you compare which one is better, like we just talking one of the slides with whey protein isolate plus versus whey protein. They will see solubility wise definitely whey protein is much better and you can pick bigger molecules have charges and the person is there, they are not soluble in the system. So formulation wise very difficult to control that. So if you could take plant protein and then make a solution, you will get it to let it stand, precipitate it out. But whey protein will be completely dispersed. So in that way, it is like we can tell that animal protein is better, plant protein, translated to protein efficiency ratio. Our aim is to have, I will not suggest people to, sorry for that, which one is good. So that, like that is individual choice. But
Because my perception is that when you talk about the proteins, whether it's animal protein or it's plant protein,
at the end, we are talking about amino acids.
Amino acids.
Yeah,
Amino acids.
essential amino acids.
essential amino acids. And if you look at the protein, plant protein, especially as she is saying about the gluten, the biggest issue is very high molecular weight proteins.
Yeah.
And to digest it, we do not have sufficient machinery to cleave any protein beyond proline.
Yes.
And that's the biggest issue with the gluten protein. That whenever the protein is there in presence of the glutamine, it cannot digest. So it left out some peptides, it enter in our bloodstream, and that's why we do this. So this is one example that when we start going for our vegetarian diet with the civilization, when we enter into crop cultivation, and now as our genome is evolving continuously, because if you look at the gluten intolerance, though it might be there earlier, but nowadays it is hard more.
Yeah.
And the prevalence is also high, 2 to 5% in this region only. And maybe more because it has been reported till date. So, what is the best solution in that perception? Like if person comes with a gluten sensitivity, like I have gluten sensitivity. People say that there are two possible ways. Either you don't take the gluten or go for the prebiotic, which can finally cleave off your that is any gluten. So instead of that, if we can suggest a person that because gluten tolerance is not restricted only with this amino acid deficiency, it is related with your iron deficiency and other elemental deficiency. So I don't know, as you are saying that doctors generally think so many things that how to what diet we should prefer to suggest to the patient. But mostly, I think that can be if we suggest those people that instead of going for the plant diet, just go for animal diet because you will get the elements. Because iron, they are highly anemic. Is gluten sensitive people. They are highly anemic because they cannot absorb the iron. Secondly, they have the low amino acid level, so definitely their growth is poor. most of them they are not having proper development. But so if we can suggest some solutions in terms of like try to give the protein supplements not derived from the plants, can it be more useful?
Yes, that we can do, but it depends. We are talking about whole food concept here.
Yeah, that's true.
If I say we give people, the focus is here whole food, which is nutritionally balanced, then you also enjoy the food. So that's why I selected few models. So in that way you can discuss more. So celiac disease people are there, and then big allergen will be there. So we have never found that solution. And everybody talk about allergen is pollen allergy or any kind of allergy. It is true. Every day we are reading articles on that. But it's individual preference particularly. Essential amino acid and essential. If you are getting that amino acid from another source and you have been identified with some of the antigenic issues, so you have to decide whether if you have alternative available is available in the market, then you go for that product. Because you are not playing with something that's going to cause a problem happen in your life. So that way, that's why this characterization process has come to play, and people are more aware that this is causing disease, this is making them sick. So they want to move from that, and they have another better option or similar options available. And it was not there, it was there, but it was not there in that way now. That is the whole idea.
And one more thing that is slightly a bit confusing, the functional foods. When we talk about the functional foods, what basically we mean?
I will talk about the core of Canadian code, the American Association Dietetic code, what is the definition of functional food, European code, when I talk about functional food, all the codes are there, Australian code.
What is basically definition? If we look at overall definition, functional food is the food which increase our functionality or a food derived from a particular function. There are two different concepts.
If you look at, I can play that, put that slide. That's why if I talk now, then I can just talk about this. One of the code, I'll not say which country. The specific functional food, anything that's present in nature, not been processed, manufactured, anything that have detrimental clinical proven functionality which you cannot have without that. So that's without functional food, simple way. So I talk about carrot. We talk about carrot. Whether it's functional food or not, you tell about that. There's like your soluble fiber, something will give you soluble fiber. So those food. So the definition wise, I have put slide these 3-4 major definitions. What is the definition of functional food in as per the code?
So that is in coming slides.
No, it's in the when we are discussing functional food under day 5.
Okay. Day 5. That's
Yeah. I think in presentation you will have that in the you might have seen that one when they all countries definition.
Because now as we are moving toward the functional foods, we right now as we are having a certain problem. As a per se, every day I hope everybody has studied about gut microbiome. And now gut microbiome is associated with a number of things, your immunity, how you age. And when people have compared the microbiome centenarians, basically the people above 1 million age, they have found a particular unit type of bacteria. And if this bacteria is associated with the healthy life. Now there is always a fact that if we look for a supplemented food, I don't know how it's very premature and this is a theory, that if we start with a already digested food, so what could be the possible effect on that system which already exists within you? Because bacteria, if you talk about the bacteria has been evolved in your gut intestine because of a number of factors. It's your genetics, it's your diet, in which region you live, and what is your lifestyle, along with a number of other factors. So, like if we are depending upon that type of hydrolysates, means easily absorbable food, basically I will say that. So, we are not going to reduce a particular function of a particular bacteria because that system has been evolved with a very strategic or a competitive manner. One bacteria will do this, product of that will act as a substrate for others, and there is chain reaction, and finally the product will be either taken by host or it will be excreted.
I will give an example. Okay, sorry, those who have left India, left outside for 20-25 years, you come and can bring tap water completely. You fall sick next day. And you will have thyroid. What is typhoid? Immediately. So that's the answer to the question. Because it's a simple example answer. So you blame the system.
It's not blaming the system.
But system is body, means system. The body was there, same body, same thing. But I just moved out. I'm the same person. I've been born and part of it.
In other terms, I have even compromised my own system.
Yeah.
And my systems became so even weak that whenever I come back to my system after 20 years, my microbiome has been completely changed. Whenever I take that bacteria as a water intake, which was a common routine 25 earlier, it considered as a foreign. So as soon as it enters your system, it starts destroying. So that is a possible fact that if you start depending upon that diet, like if complex carbohydrates are there, we are taking like chapati is having very complex carbohydrates, wheat grain, and we are taking it. So if suppose instead of wheat, we go to a simplified or hydrolysate, so it means we are reducing the work of a particular bacteria because that bacteria has been evolved just because you are taking that particular diet. If you remove that diet, automatically that bacteria don't have that substrate to live on. Automatically with time it will be out of your system. And later on when you cannot afford, so many issues are there, then you will go back to the same complex system, then you will be in more problem than what actually you are.
You are talking about balance, natural selection, and evolution.
That's true.
That's
Because
the fundamental.
Because the issue that we are sitting in a country which is having almost 1.3 billion population. And if we looking for that type of solution, I'm not saying that definitely it's a requirement. We all of are underage basically. And in that case, we have to meet our additional requirement. But if we are providing PG solution, like take an example of the same class. If a PG student is there in our say first year, I simply ask what is the carbohydrate, what is the protein, what is the lipids. In the next semester, their performance can be easily judged. So they will think that the same question will be repeated maybe next time what is the primary structure of the protein. I will not ask how disulfide what has been formed. So same way, our system is going not to mature in a evolutionary way, but somehow we are developing our own system that now we became compromised, that rather became dependent on that already available packets in the fridge. Just take the packet out of take a packet out of the fridge, eat, then you survive, otherwise you do that.
Actually, what the one is talking, it's a informative. He has made a universal thing that that functional food is for everybody. But what I think that functional food will be for special class of people. If you are not for everybody, because once the person who is okay with the normal food, he should take normal food. And also, who has some problems, some serious problems, some IBD problem. I believe if a person is, you can say that.
The issue is that the dice is insurance.
If a person has a problem like he or she is intolerant to lactose, he or she will have to take lactose-free diet. So in that case, this functional food, I think, special type of food is needed. But in normal scenario, I don't think that changing the food, because that will be possible also, because you have diabetic. That will be possible.
Also because of that, how much people are actually buying that product. So if the product has been produced in a world, automatically also
for example, there is a product which I personally take, because I am lactose intolerant. I take the Ensure. I have to take that Ensure. Everybody don't have to take Ensure. So this means that this is for especially the different categories of buyers should be there. So we have to focus to certain people for certain product. It's not universal. What I feel.
So the thing that you are confusing between population field and totally I'm seeing on that. Because it's a functional food, it's a formulation field.
Yeah, like you're talking to floral will change, your gut will change because there's something called use and disuse of all this. So what we are talking. So if you change the system, you change the food, our gut will evolve in different way. Because it's a different type of food. So some of the microbes will be wiped out. So that is what I think John is talking. But here the discussion was that how to extract the which protein and what are the potential user of that particular. I think that is very specific. I don't think that it is universal. That everybody has to take that. Certain class of people have to take that. What I think.
And then it will be again a problem. And automatically possibly I as Professor Rao was saying in the morning, like if you will they start revising formulation specific for a disease. Like we know that this is disease because of antigen, but then in that we revise the formulation.
You take insulin, it costs around 400 rupees. But you get normal protein, then you can pay 500, 400. Milk is cheaper than insulin. So that's the thing.
Okay, let's say personal information like you're talking about lactose intolerant. So why is lactose intolerant? See, it takes the lactose-free skim milk. She cannot take normal milk. She has to take lactose-free ultra-filtered lactose non-certified milk. She can't take that. So you have to get choice whether you take for that or this.
I can't take milk, but I can take non-milk. So I have to take non-milk. That was the source of protein, but I have to take that. So all chicken things, everything goes over there. You have to take that. Don't survive and take that. And I have to take. If you have to take it, then you survive, you have to pay also.
We are not producing food for everyone. We are producing just for
That's the
medicines like.
Yeah, that's not everyone. Not for everyone.
Then how can you utilize your food for everyone?
Yeah. That's what I tell you. That's what I tell you.
If one can have a problem with that food, then only we can find that it is not suitable for me.
Yeah.
Can I add on to this? Basically, when we do a protein hydrolyzation, we look in what Sir said as wheat protein. We talk about animals, they just not the milk, they've got meat, they've got egg. So all these materials definitely has got the essential amino acids. That is how we call categorized this high biological value food as compared to the international. Now coming down to the hydrolyzing part, we have got two aspects. One is we give it to the special category of people, and that is especially the ones geriatric, pediatric people. The second is to the normal people in the category of functional foods. So you will have a formulation, which is the normal whatever flour that you use, whatever you want to put in the formulation. Plus you can add this as a fortification. So it will add on to the nutritive value of that particular food. You are not eliminating one and putting this. Okay. Now, whichever proteins that you use at 945, you can use the expensive source or you can use the cheap source. The muscles, for example, the poultry waste as it's a waste, but there's got proteins. There's got the same amino acids. So if you hydrolyze that and put those amino acids or smaller peptides into this particular food, which has got a normal composition, the functional value of the food is increased. That's how the market is.
Okay, it is not that like the vacuum is being used, the piggyback people are using. So you said anything, if you adding value to something and you're using, so people are using that way, so it's like minimizing waste.
We got a lot of poultry waste, we got a lot of plant waste coming on. We use extract of these amino acids and incorporate. In fact, the shorter peptides have got a lot of multi-activity. The reason is that it's has got antioxidant potentials, it's got anti-cancer properties. So if you incorporate some amount of this, of course you need to weigh the pros and cons of the R&D and then try and incorporate which formulation. You can't just put across a formulation one into the other. You will find out which will suit what. Accordingly, we can incorporate into materials and make a new product. And that's what this is about.
Okay, so personalized diet.
Not essentially personalized diet. So, for example, if there is a category of cohort of people where there is very thing that nutrient requirement is quite high, especially the protein ones. If carb is an essential, I mean, it's abundant that. So the protein deficiency that is basically a concern. So if you can incorporate these proteins from comparatively a cheaper source, right? You are giving the nutritive value to those categories. So food for all, food for the poor, those concepts.
Okay, the fish bone, basically fish bone there.
Anything.
Millions of tons are being wasted. You are value adding that product. Fish bone you can extract directly. And the fish bone, so you can, somebody told that taking fish, you can label it as contents.
Structural as well as We stop with that. We want connective proteins, we want shell proteins.
Yes. Different protein. Just example.
The regularity of hydrolyzed protein will decrease or will increase the protein will
Protein efficiency is the same as the different way. It's not being dependent on hydrolyzed protein or dependent on soya or dependent on some things. We are not dependent on that. We need that nutrient, the digestion values, in the sense of amino acids. Because I guess these are the building blocks of your body. So if you need that from the diet you are taking, first diet you are taking, your body needs to function, cognitive thinking, or whatever it is, your hormones or everything is being connected to that. So if that's not there, you are deprived of that, so the function will not be persistent. You can define until you improve it. So the idea is to have in a forced food, so we're not paying extra money. But I like to pay something 1% more for that in some forced food, like bread or sugar or anything my buttermilk. So I get everything in that. So I'm not paying going to pay something extra. But somebody needs more of that, they have to pay another to go to something complex and find that. That's the idea. So you have choice, different choice. But I don't understand that.
Another question is, are we taking money for ourselves or for we are also taking money for our network? Because as one of the things we have one personal network, and we know after microbiology things like certain genes are we don't have certain genes there in us, like gene for obesity.
Yeah.
Lot of different classification are going on. It's a additional Chinese process that we also use they are one question. People transplantation. It's pure certain disease related to agri and so are we also taking these proteins? Are we considering the gut microbiome or the flora composition? Because they also have certain preferences. Which protein they should take, which type of peptide they should. Some peptide may as they are in microbiome, maybe there are so many other functions. So changing the whole composition or process may change the gut composition.
Yeah. Microbiome study. That's the metagenomics and
It's a very
big thing now.
And so we can't say that one particular food is suitable for one person and one hydrolyzate can take, every can take. And about the changing that much because ultimately it's a gut microbiome. You see that sometimes there is healthy that you find obese people or healthy people can say that healthy people sometimes you find lean. People have done such experiment. They can transplant from lean to obese, out turn to obese. Yeah. Experiment. So there are more people what we think. Much to be answered. Unanswered. Okay. Completely resistant of the Thank you. I want to know about the resistance. Are there any resistant cases in the scientific community? Resistant of the hydrolysates, protein enzymes that does not work operating down the proteins at the site.
Who's the community, scientific community, they are opposing the.
Yes.
No, there is no second opinion in this field. Say today, opinion, concrete opinion like always required in science, develop challenge, because it brings new ideas and also throws new light to the event, new issues, and then only we can dissect the problem and then come ahead and clear path to conclusion that should be the constructive ideas. So in this area, we do not have any second opinion, so everybody agrees with that. So, in this area. Everybody knows protein is required.
That's true. Even we have to feed so many, and mostly 100 people are on the saying. created on one side. So first priority is to clear that. Once they are packed, then the possibility is for that.
Yeah.
These issues. One more thing like card formation, as you were saying, that is a very process you share. Is any other way without using the bacteria people can make it? Is it possible?
Yeah.
Because why I'm asking, so you're asking, because it's my personal experience. There are so many brands out there. If you will take certain brands and you will try to inoculate the same card into putting the milk, they will not lose the milk. So I don't know that what actually happened in this process, whether the bacteria got inactive or maybe that curd didn't have the bacteria. Is there a possibility of making this bypassing the bacterial fermentation process to make the curd using some acids or some other thing?
If you then the answer is directly to the source in the column, fermented explicitly acids from certain fatty acids. So if you look at that process, we understand insulin resistance things. We have not solved that one. How to answer that question will be like you eliminate the god completely, and then you people are transplanting. You can transplant the god microflora. Then studying that how enzymes are upregulated, downregulated. So then profiling the god microflora. So people are working on that now. This is very crowded space now. And 5 years ago, only few handful of 5 years, that was nothing. In recently, many people are looking at the people know any leading journalists, there will be one article definitely on God. Okay, so not a work is going on. I have seen that, for example, frontier or any other general frontier network, every issue I say for QoC at least on that. Whether it is any model, they're working that. Very common.
So can enzymatic microbes be as good source like whey and soya for proteins and then for the nutrient supplement? Enzymatic microbes, can they be as good source of proteins?
Yeah, definitely. Microbes are very good. What do we have in your breakfast? My answer is definitely actually. If somebody asks me what you're going to have in your breakfast, my answer will be bacteria. I will get some bacteria.
That's very you can identify bacteria which can synthesize your essential amino acid. Simply consider that because they use your small chain, you can say carbo capsule, style with other molecules, and they will synthesize all your protein amino acids and they will spit out, and you will have your requirement. But the first question is that what kind of fatty microbes you are taking, whether they will not be harmful to your body, that is another question. Because bacteria has a lot of potential. You have to find out the suitable target and it could be used. But there are so many issues as well.
And what about fungal antibiotics?
Same, it is applicable to all. You can take anyone, which is not harmful for your body and can meet your body requirements. It can be anything.
My discussion will turn, it will take another discussion part. But the thing is like, Johan sir said, and in morning, Shweta also said that animal protein is better or the plant protein is better. So, as you know, it is a religious country and everyone has their religious diet. If you talk to a Muslim, they will not eat the pork, and if to the Hindus, they will not go for the meat and things. So, when Esther was saying, if you suggest people like they can have the animal protein, it could be better for them. So, do you think, sir, like if you suggest someone, okay, you can have the animal protein, and will agree with that? First thing. Second thing, like having this animal protein, if like in the case sir was discussing like hydrolyzation and things and using the waste material into the some useful materials and making some formulations. Maybe in that case, people can have the formulation in the form of medication or the powders and things. But if you directly say them like, okay, you can have the animal protein, they will not have it. And especially when we were discussing about the protein, like whether men need more protein than the women's. We know women need more protein, but women are more religious than the men. And I guess in India, maximum women they don't take non-vegetarian food, and they go like they're more protein deprived than men.
Yeah.
So in that case, what you would suggest to them, like what would be better for them? To having like only the plant proteins, or go to the formulations, or to suggest them, or like make them understand like you should have the animal protein. See, I don't like our discussion, but as far as I understand,
that's the question I didn't want to answer myself. I was mentally prepared
Because what you take in the water, it can also come in both.
That's I didn't say it's a personal preference. That's why when I make that comment, it's personal, fully knowledge, personal preference. But anyway, that's other talking demographic is untrue. I was never mentioning that when I knew this question will come, so I avoided that, not discussing. It's a fair thing because okay, something I eat, you may not eat. So that doesn't mean that why I'm the question, why you are not eating that. So at the end point is that we are not deprived. We get our daily essential material requirements, whatever source we prefer, that is the end point. So we get that means our biological activities, function, bones, everything, our whole endocrine system, everything is functioning normally. We are not means falling sick or not able to perform suppose we are school kids or cognitive things such as people are not sleep deprived. So those things are interlinked, everything is interlinked. We could dissect go back on the one step. So it's up to you. If you talk about this question to another hemisphere, this question will, because they all have this question has different meanings. So that's why I avoided actually in discussion. I mentioned demographically. So it is food is personal preference always. And then the messages are so also. Whether I will say whatever, but the message is so. And we will eliminate. It's not vegetarian, not vegetarian.
Okay, sir, I would like to add one point to it. Though animal protein has like more biological value, but it's like where the gap coming is a lot of people have not been explored. There are vegetarian diets also. There are a lot of protein sources are there because nowadays people are becoming more of means conscious on and consuming animal protein. So they are opting for vegan diets. So they are becoming vegans instead of vegetarian also. They are not consuming milk also.
Yes.
So it's like there are a lot of proteins, plant-based proteins are there. A lot of people are turning. Like one of my colleague also, she's like becoming from non-vegetarian to vegetarian from vegan. So now she's consuming full of plant-based foods. So it's not like the gap is first of all the supply chain, the transportation, and the exploration of that products and the consumption of the products. For example, ragi is also a rich source of this iron and calcium. But the thing is, ragi production is not here much, and that too, not much people are consuming that that kind of product. So this is also one of the aspects.
But in India, we are only aware about the proteins from milk.
Exactly.
As the vegetarian.
Yeah.
We are not aware of any other source, so there's no awareness. We can't make
soya protein and milk protein.
That's it. Because when you go to the children also, like when you go to a pediatrician, he will always suggest that you try to give egg to your child or chicken so that the protein diet is ensured. But we being females and being the religious aspect as she added, we don't take non-vegetarian and it's not so preferred. So there should be awareness about the plant-based protein diet, especially in countries like India.
So to add on to this, when we talk about the animal proteins, all the products of the animals we classify as animal proteins. So be it meat, be it milk, be it egg. All these are animal proteins as far as food biology is concerned. Coming to plant proteins, the animal proteins have got all these three things, has got all the 9 to 10 essential amino acids completely everything. So if I just eat meat, or if I just take a glass of milk, or if I just take an egg, my nutritional requirement of the essential amino acids is satisfied. In case of vegetarian food, we don't have the entire amino acids. Of the 9, you might have 8. 1 is missing. But 1 missing is a missing component for your build-up of proteins in your body. That is why we need to always complement the food. For example, dal rice. Rice does not have lysine, dal does not have ferrins. They do a combination of it, this satisfies it. That is why we say meat, the animal source of protein is a better source. Otherwise, it's a combination. Even soya has got its limitations and does not have all the amino acids. That's the problem with they got a high content of protein, but the composition wise, one is lacking.
And it is observed as well that the children, like I started giving my children non-veg when I found that the immunity was very weak and the doctor suggested, I said, it's okay, I can't put her on medicine, rather I will switch on the non-vegetarian diet. But I can see that improvement which was there. But I don't think so. I'm not able to find because myself is a vegetarian. So it's difficult for vegetarian to give non-veg. So then in that case, I'm not able to find myself what is a good protein supplement for myself. Like people take tryptin. Tryptin is a biscuit which is protein-based biscuit, and that has also come up. But if you see cost-wise, also it is very expensive. Everybody can't afford that.
So we have to have some of the proteins which is nutritionally very bad. All essential amino acids, that's very the guidelines for guidelines. Then it should be readily available, and also dietary requirement should be getting the criteria. So there are different choices you have to make when you select the protein diet. So if you already know what is good for you, then strictly when something is coming up, you have to go for that. That's the best way. Any more ideas or questions?
So we are now. Yeah, so we are still left with some time. So meanwhile, what we can do, I can see that this is a very interactive crowd. We have a lot of interactive people sitting here, and the discussion is very healthy. Even I, as a microbiologist, didn't knew many of the facts that you have discussed just now. So it would be a good idea, like if we introduce ourselves, because since morning we don't know each other. Many of the faces are new for me, and same is true for the other side also. So why not we have a brief round of introduction? I would like you to tell your name and affiliation, and if possible, the area in which you have been working. Right. So I start with the first participant on this side.
I am Rashmi Singh Rana, pursuing MSc Biotechnology final year from the IIS University, Jaipur.
I request you to stand because of this barrier here, so that everybody can see you. Yeah. Can you again introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Rashmi Singh Rana from Jaipur, pursuing MSc Biotechnology final year from the IIS University.
I'm Vivek Kese. I'm just recently completed PhD from Marseille University, France, and my work is related to antibiotic resistance gene identification. Thank you.
I'm Deepak Kumar Pali from Gujarat district of Rajasthan. I am a graduate science student in Indian Agriculture Institute, New Delhi. My work is basically on Western
I'm Darshna Mathur. I basically belong from Jodhpur, but I'm from Jaipur IIS University, and I'm working as a research scholar under Dr. Baran Nathani, and I'm working on energetic microbes and their secondary metabolites.
I'm Prince Aponsa from Ghana, MSc Biochemistry, PDM University, Bahrain. My project now I'm working on is production and optimization and characterization of dates wine, and I'm almost done with it.
Good evening, everybody. Myself, Dr. Lee Thai. I'm an associate professor, School of Biotechnology and Bioinformatics, Behaviour University, Mumbai. I'm basically working on recovery toxicity. Simply taken up food chemistry is my new interest, where I'm looking into all these aspects. Thank you.
Myself, Preeti Pari from IS University, Jaipur. I am pursuing my MSc third. I am Victoria Yadav from University Sayama and we have MSc Scientific at
Good evening, everyone. I am Amit Kumar from Department of Botany, Delhi University, and I am in first year of PhD, and my work is in system protein.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Vishu. I'm from Department of Microbiology. I'm working on prebiotics and this position of Rohtak profession.
Good evening, everyone. I am Sima Dev from pursuing PhD from Department of Microbiology and I am working on endogenous production and its accessibility in food and feed nutrition. Good evening, everyone. My name is Surya and I am pursuing PhD in microbiology from Hungary. And my research topic is the phytase production and the application of free and immobilized phytase.
Very good afternoon to one and all. I am Vipasha. I did my BTech in MBA from National Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management, BTech in Food Technology and Management, and MTech in Food Safety and Quality Management. And currently, I am working as an assistant professor in Vignan University, Andhra Pradesh.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Pooja Sunita from Department of Microbiology, and my research interests basically the area on which I am working. I am working on plant microbiome.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Swati Tyagi. I finished my PhD from South Korea, Choco National University, and I'm also working with plant microbial interactions with special focus on microbial-based volatile organic compound, its effect on plant disease suppression and medical promotion.
Good evening, everyone. I am Shama Bhatt and I am pursuing BTech final year in Biotech and I am from Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel University, New York.
Good evening, everyone. I am Harsh Chaudhary. I am doing BTech Biotechnology from Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel University of Agriculture and Technology.
Good afternoon to all. I am Dr. Naseem Chauhan from Department of Biochemistry. Basically, I do research on the host microbiome infections, and recently I am looking for plant microbiome infections. So till now, I try to study how host, and more specifically human, and microbiome interact with each other.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Sudesh, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology, and my area of specialization is animal behavior. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Rajna Chaiwal in the Department of Zoology and I am working on the production of the recombinant proteins in plants.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Shruti and I am a PhD scholar at Department of Microbiology under the supervision of Dr. Kiran Sharma and my work is on disease diagnosis.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself Tikalu, pursuing PhD from Department of Microbiology MU, and topic of my research is development of pre-treatment strategies for bioanimal production.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself Anushika and I am pursuing PhD in Department of Microbiology and my research topic is extracellular gelatinase production from bacillus.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Mr. Bharata, Assistant Professor in Central Biotechnology and University from Trust. And my area of research is plant genetic engineering and plant biology.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Jyoti Jain, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology in the Science College.
Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Asita, Department of Zoology.
Rudy, I am K.K. Sharma, PhD Department of Microbiology, and I work on illness related enzyme and so basically oxidation diseases, whether it is in gut or whether it is fungi.
Hello, everyone. Myself, Dr. Anita, Assistant Professor here in Department of Microbiology, and my area of specialization is biomedication technology.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Pooja Gulati from the Department of Microbiology. I'm also a faculty in the same department. And the area of interest is medical microbiology. I work on molecular epidemiology and antibiotic resistance. So the food is not my area. So.
I'm in my history, the maximum and I'm working on biology after
Hello everyone, myself Rohtak Sharma. I'm doing PhD from Department of Microbiology, and my area of specialization is biomedication of hydrolysates.
Hello everyone, I am Preetal. I am pursuing PhD and Rohtak under Dr. Behaviour, and my research topic is characterization and enzymatic potential of rhizobia for the performance of biomedical.
And I'm doing science. Microbiology and you.
Afternoon everyone, myself Anush and I am pursuing my MD in microbiology from Department of Microbiology and you.
Myself Manshu pursuing myself Mohan pursuing my MSc microbiology from India.
Myself Lokesh, I am pursuing my PhD in the Department of Microbiology and working on antimicrobial.
Okay, so thank you everyone for introducing yourself. I'll also introduce myself. I am Dr. Rajiv Kapoor. I'm an assistant professor at the Department of Microbiology, and I work on many enzymes of industrial use. We till now, what I'm seeing, the session is progressing very well, and with us today we have one of the successful entrepreneur. I was speaking to Dr. Raut today. So we are left with 10 minutes more. So I would request Dr. Raut to give us an entrepreneurial idea, because many youngsters are sitting here who can be a potential entrepreneurs also. So looking at the scenario of Indian scenario, what could be a good idea for a startup and food technology?
Okay, I can see anybody can be an entrepreneur, but becoming a successful entrepreneur different from that being an entrepreneur. There are two different things. So, like playing cricket, then coming in art. So there's two things: playing and in art, in doing advertising yourself. So you sell your own idea. That's how to sell your idea. So how I entered, that's a different story. Everybody has their own stories. So we can have this 10-minute session. If somebody has some entrepreneurial ideas, then we can like brainstorm and see and put figure in an Indian context. Anybody has any idea? So we can discuss. I can throw some light in that area.
So that's a very good chance to get a free consultation from an expert. So if you have any of the idea, especially regarding food processing, so I would encourage. Do you have an idea? Any entrepreneurial idea that you can sell this thing or that thing, so he can give you free consultation. Any one of you? Come on. I'm expecting from the freshers, the fresh MSc students. I can protect it. If somebody wants to get it patented, I can help them. But does anybody have an idea? Can you share? See, ideas cannot be patented until you put them on work.
Okay, we guarantee nothing will go out of this portal. So the ideas will be within us. We can.
So you got my point? Ideas can't be patented. It's only the products that can be patented or the process. So I am telling you to maybe any one basic idea that you can discuss that.
You know, my question for you.
Yeah. Yes, Vipash.
Since it is related to nutraceutical and functional foods, so it's like you say, related to the bakery industry. So bakery industry is full of waste, fat, and sugar. All the products are full of fat and sugar. So he can replace some fat or some sugar content because nowadays people are becoming health conscious, am I right? So if something can be replaced out of that, so we can open that industry in case of some functional foods. I mean, which will be providing nutrition also, and that we can consume also. And you can something just as Chip said. For example, baking, what they are innovating, for example, gluten has some, most of the people are becoming gluten intolerant also. So for that, instead of using wheat protein, they can use millets. So millets wheat product, they are manufacturing muffins or cakes, etc. These kind of stuff they are manufacturing for commercial stage. And what else can be done? Because most of the people are innovating in this aspect. Whereas one of the aspects is chips also is a baked product. So baked product, what we can do, we can take the flax seeds or millets, out of that we can produce something, which is something which would be fat free also, and that's a baked product also, which is also sugar free. So something like that we can do.
Okay, so that is
So
more
that's
or
the
less
idea.
modified foods.
Okay. We'll discuss what is the international market and scenario first, consumer preference, then our product innovation will be designed in that. At present, if you go to supermarket, any supermarket, you'll see bread comes with 9, it's called multi-grain bread. Okay, multi-grain it will have chia seed, flax seed, it will have different seeds. It may have buckwheat flour. Buckwheat is different, like kuttu in Hindi. So people are having sunflower, then pumpkin seed. So these are facts. Then put on the bread. I was involved with a company. It's called Western Technology. I signed agreement with them. So this product has been launched, successful. Western Technology is the largest bread manufacturing company in Australia. So they produce 2 different varieties of bread. One is containing hydrolysates, blend 3 different varieties. One having some of the bread has guar gum, xanthan gum. So the guar gum will reduce, even goes to the GI tract, it will reduce, what will happen, your glycemic index will, it's low GI food, so glucose, it happens sugar free, so the sugar elevation will be low. So it means it will controlling the blood pressure. So then also controlling the diabetes. So other things like phytosterol, you can add phytosterols. So into that, if you have then the challenge in that, if you formulate some product having guar gum, xanthan gum, and all also these polysaccharides, and then blend with low phospholipids, and then plus any of these normal low processing is different. Then that can be preferential binding of water will be different. If you look at the microstructure, water will not hydrate properly with gluten because it will compete with the gum. So the dough, raising of the dough volume will be different. If I sell a bread, the low volume is low volume, so consumer will not buy. So how the baking industry is the biggest challenge that has overcome because so this formulation is product is already designed. That was designed in 2007. That product, the 2007, that product in market. It was called Wonder Bread. So so these are the things you can do. That's a very good idea. If you look in the market, yeah, like we are having chapati. So you can blend it. You go to any of the flour bags, they have 9 grain, 5 grain. I think they are blended. They're blended already. The flour means you are getting all the amino acids, all the protein directly in chapati. So if you are talking about bread, muffin, baking industry, some is like lupin. People in Western Australia, they are making lupin bread. So that is good for peasants because it's gluten free. So this way, novel food products can come. So being an entrepreneur, so you have to study to position a product in the Indian market. First, see what is the gap. Means you are competing with some of the established brands. What is the gap? Gap means whether we have celiac percentage 2% or 3% or 5%. What is the turnover of that? Then you have to have financial. Then I am not talking about financial. Like you have going to talk to the investor or you being an investor, you have a business plan. Then you have return on investment. You do all the calculations. Then initially you product launch strategy, design, formulation, prototype designing, then sensory evaluation, acceptability. All things you have to do in the background. So before going to market. So marketing the part of putting a product in the shelf, and then the transition. It might take 3 years, it might take 2 years, R&D based. So then if you are doing product yourself, you can apply for a patent. So you can then nobody can copy you. And if there's a patent infringement, you are copying somebody. You have to negotiate with them how to share the IP. So these are the issues there. So you can putting a premium product. Suppose many people are diabetic. Okay, this bread will be hit because that is hit there. It got award there international food competition. So if you put one of the low glycemic index bread, low GI food, so people will definitely take it. So in Indian age, we all used to it, whether it's bread or chapati, every day we are eating it. So we can design certain thing, right? Guacamole is cluster bean. Okay? So we can take the flour and bend it and then do formulation. It may not be fast to go, the product will be there, several formulation. You can design that way. Then the biggest challenge is how to scale it up. Prototype is okay. You can bake it to the lab and then you test it and scale it up. Scale it, then how the industrial input and then the infrastructure, the machinery improvement. Nowadays, the business runs a different model. Different model means somebody have already been set up a big factory where the processing equipments are there, with also safety and requirement. So you go and talk to them. If you can buy some 10% or 20% of their facility time, because the machinery, they unplug machinery and capability, you have the product IP, and then you discuss with them, and then you do a partnership agreement with them. So you have to sign a confidential agreement with them first, then you share your IP with them. Then this is the when confidential agreement is signed, then you go to the next stage, another negotiation. You talk with the investor, you do your calculations, then how much money is required, then your target consumers. Then you discuss. You are hiring staff from the existing your partner. Then you sign a partner. If you say non-disclosure agreement again, then you sign the MOU. Then come to branding. Branding means your logo, trade name, can copy you. Then you register that with the IP. We do at IP Australia, or you can do it one organization internationally. So that's the process. You logo design, then you put a launch a product. When the launch date comes, then you have or before that, you should have really worked like sensory evaluation is the key, and you cannot claim the health benefit in the level. Means you can say this is for your diabetic patient. We cannot claim now. We cannot. So, but if we can already the other media, like you can say electronic media, website, or a newspaper, you can write, but in the product you cannot claim those health claim benefits. So definitely anything related to health, it sells like hotcake. So people will buy it. So, but we have to have these things are clinically not needed to be proven, but it has to go through the GI tract. So in vivo and in vitro digestion study has to be done before we say that how the this model is working well, like this brand has been formulated, GI tracts we've done this study. So these things we have to do it, then only you can write in the electronic media. So does it sound okay, or how we then write? Coming from the idea, because something. Yeah.
So basically, the main concern is not to target a specific population, but actually, because since bakery and confectionery products are not consumed as a meal, because they are taken in between the meals. Okay, sometimes if someone has not taken any meal, so they have a tendency to eat from outside, to eat some baked products or some processed foods.
Yeah.
So it's like, why not healthy baked foods also? So that is what the main concern is.
Yeah.
And sir, how to reach out to the angel investors after the test marketing?
Marketing, yeah.
After the test marketing, how to reach out to the angel investors?
Investor. Okay, that's the key. If you have a business idea, you have to have it's called what is that? So you have a business idea, you do your accounting part, return on investment, cash flow, and then you do your calculation in that. So when you talk to investor, first investor may make it. Okay, so people usually this is story of the entrepreneur. They go to venture capitalist, or they go to bank, or they go to government funding. A lot of channels are there. So you have to find where you can get the funding. So investor only will come. They take 10 to 20%.
I don't think it's a good option.
No, I know that people talk bank pays. Yeah, no risk collection means they are like they act as assets or something. Some people I see they borrow from their friends. I'm not giving example. And then some people are doing in partnership. That I gave an idea where you want the idea, somebody is funding your idea, and they will take some of the percentage of your profit. They'll share the profit. Different models work on that. So investment is the key here. Once you have the idea, the proof of concept ready, and you have a product to market, and before launching and you need funding, the funding will be based on your IP itself. So you have to talk to negotiate with the venture capitalists or any of the industries. They can fund those ideas.
Can you suggest something?
So, okay, name is very difficult for me to suggest in India. Who will be funding yes, it's a bit. If you can tell me what you are looking exactly, but giving a name directly is not possible.
So 2016, government also financial terrorism has started a startup scheme as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Government idea. Yeah. That's called 59 days. You get. I know. I keep reading newspaper every day.
I think that fortifying the daily staple diet with some nutritional supplement would be a good idea, rather than going for bakery products. What he suggests that if we can fortify our atta or the dough with some more nutrition supplements, that would be a better idea. Instead of going for the bakery products.
That is actually already going on.
Yeah, but people are not aware.
No, actually, genetic was an exercise at games. After that, I think 2016 to 2017, they have started fortification also, and they have given norms for fortification also.
But one thing is that branding nobody has done. If we can brand our product, that's why I'm saying the consumer is not at all aware of what to eat and what not to eat. We generally go for the taste. If it tastes well, we go for it. If it is not tasty, we don't go for it. So the awareness of the consumer is very important.
I think, but the milk is there in the market, the fortification of A, vitamin A and vitamin B.
But none of us, even I, never taken because we are not aware of the brands, or the brands are not reaching us. Something needs to be done at that point. Yeah.
The other thing, if you do the break-even analysis, because the cash flow will be coming, suppose you are investing something in the past, maybe 3 months, 4 months time. Okay, so that's the time gap. You invest today, the cash flow, the return on investment maybe after 5 months, 6 months, 7 months. So in that way, you design your what?
If you are permanent faculty or somewhere, then other rules have to be followed again.
Yes.
Depending on the university norms.
Yeah.
Next thing you are working.
Okay.
Next thing you are working.
Okay. Okay. I will share my experience. I signed to place an event. Many companies work with me. Like as I said, I do the continuous agreement because it's basic practice as an federal government. So I cannot share those things as fine but line. So, but if you have to launch some product, you have to make a sacrifice, you have to come out of your way, then you start something new. So that's the only thing here. That's a very good point. Because these two things parallel don't have.
Any query perhaps fine, other than the first 3 times today? Any query?
In the morning, I think we were discussing about that. So that was related to the sports nutrition. Okay, so like you know that they are in the sports state.
Yeah.
So a lot of people they are crazy about knowing what specific foods they should take.
No.
So normally traditional food, whatever they take here, in breakfast people they take aloo paratha. Okay, with curd. Okay, so maybe some other type of diet you can recommend for people who are on some type of training for certain sports. So any specific type of food which people in Australia they are taking in the morning breakfast or during lunch, any special type of diet. Just throw some light on that.
Yes. Australia is putting this in. Everybody will be outside. So I also going down. Morning this the life is different, definitely. But kids love. I will start from what kids love. They definitely love their sandwich. Okay. And then either they go for smoothie, which is vigorous, fortified with protein based. Or they are taking fresh juice, so they are also taking some of the protein based that may be high, usually bar or some of the extruded cereal products. They put either in yogurt with berries. So they put blueberries, cranberries, strawberries. They put in that directly. They eat food. They like it. They love the yogurt. So calcium and protein comes from yogurt. If they are taking milk based, then every day what they are taking this one. The milk, they will have some breakfast cereal in that. There are some nuts have been added into it. Some people are not allergic. There many people are there. So they are clearly labeled that not actually washed or not. So they take like this. And then in the lunch, it's different. Again, if the people are working in the office, they again come with sandwiches. Okay. So, but I take my own leftover food to work. Then I warm it up and eat there. So what happened? They know that I eat my own Indian food. So my food is completely different. So they know me. So this way the food is changing. So then what they have been eating in the dinner, which is the big meal. They come together. So they have everything they eat. Right? So everything they so if for the nutrition industry that Professor Shukla was asking how the sports industry is happening. So they have big research institute, sports medicine, sports research institute, being funded and driven by government. So I'm sure this they are running. But the cricket academy and the National University, the simulations, the past world. I'm taking an example. You were showing the master show and this how this is happening. So, how the muscle rate is reacting to protein, how much of fat is being burned, how much of exercise aerobics they have to do, how much of protein loading they have to do. Then potential partitioning of nutrients. They have already done this thing. Everything is modeled and calibrated. And then that equation, then okay, that person needs that much of time. So they have a government accredited dietitian course, Australian Association of Dietitians. So they only are certified to recommend people with this kind of diet. Any more questions?
One thing more is there because I missed the session due to some work. So this the proteases which you have given the protocol for enzyme hydrolysis. So the protease is a mitochondrial protein.
The proteins which we use plant-based, bromelain.
Can we do this?
Yeah.
With mitochondrial protein?
Definitely, people have tried. I just gave an example. People tried microbial.
Because many students they are on microbial protein.
Yeah, definitely they will try. So you have to see how much yield is coming. You could do a digital survey, and then you should design suitable proteins for that. Try it one, but this same technique, same thing will be happening with any of the proteins used. But you select that one. No.
I think if there are some questions in the morning, we have very short time. So if you have any questions, you can ask. Because we have another 20 minutes left. 4:30 we will finish. You have any questions, Prince? What you are studying?
Yeah.
MSc Biochemistry. Yes, so you must have some.
Yes. Earlier, I wanted to ask something about the discussion drifted rate. So I wanted to know about concerning the protein hydrolysates in the field of diet therapy. When you consider overweight, underweight, and then obese, I wanted to know the role this protein hydrolysates are playing there and the outcomes.
Okay. So if you look at what this percentage of obese means, the BMI will tell. It's a simple equation. You can Google it out online, height, weight, and then you get your BMI. So BMI means each country, like my BMI will be different from other part of the country. That's a standard scale. The Hispanic will have, Asian will be different. So these different people will have different BMI chart is there. So you have to refer to the BMI chart. You can calculate simple equation. So you will get your then from that. So then like pre-diabetic, diabetic people or obese people are definitely tend to have obese people are tend to have high glucose. That's one graph I was showing diabetic, they're interrelated. Over a period of time, if you are obese, you are must be having glucose level high to be diabetic. Start from doesn't reach that slow quickly. It takes time. So the body is already doing work for you, but you are not listening. So it's better to have those tests done 6 months wise. You already must be doing those things. I'm not advising, but everybody I am doing also. So means we have system in place. We are not taking anything outside things, but we are eating those food by some kind of lifestyle changes are what we're doing. We know that we're eating nutritious food, we're telling that ourselves, but actually we are not taking what is required. We are making compromise. We visit some place, we'll go and hear, okay, I will eat tiger. Because and then we come to home, then say, I don't want to eat this, I'll put it. But we are not making a chart ourselves. The rule, self-rule, this is the self-rule rule itself. So everybody has to practice that way. So food is by choice, but that's why I cannot recommend. It's better to who is clinically certified person like a dietitian. You have to consult with them. They have to have your blood profile, your lipid test, your all these tests you have to go through, and then they will suggest what is best for you. Then each country has a different like obesity rule and all. Each country is different. So they have to refer to you in that. So they will put in that whether you're obese or you're not obese. So, but you can see yourself in that case. On simply question in online, you can check.
Yes, sir. Just a question, very simple. It's not a question, it's a running thought.
Yeah.
Like many students who are graduating from our university, they are either completing PhD or masters. Especially in the sports nutrition. Is there any scope that they work on? I don't know about the microbial proteins, which has nutritional value. Is it equivalent to the plant protein, or we can replace it with microbial protein or something like that, so that they can start something, it's a startup type of thing for protein production itself.
Okay. If we look at industrial production, biofermentation and bioreactor is one of the areas to scale out protein, overexpressing it and purifying E. coli. People are overexpressing, all the companies are doing already there, overexpressing and purifying it. So the thing that people are talking about getting from the food, whole food. The idea I will discuss whole food, plant-based and dairy, whole food with natural taking. But when you talk about, because alternative source of protein is very important for looking at the population we have to feed, and nutrition is also important. Because if you have protein from some of the waste material, I will give some example. Then we can value add that product. Then we can make that as a blending with all of the products. Like we blend the cocoa powder with protein to give the flavor. Cocoa will naturally reduce the hypertension. So so that way people are doing blending. Like one of the formula is so it has whey protein isolate, whey protein concentrate, cross whey protein hydrolysate. So they're not giving, they're blending this. It's called blending. So in that way, if you can establish microbial protein has the same functionality, say meets the for guidelines, then also the food regulations is compared with the food law of that country that can be used in as a food material. Then we can say that how to blend it with the existing protein, whether it's soy protein, whether animal protein, blending with plant protein, is a clearly an issue. So, a lot of challenges are there. They are not challenges, but there are opportunities, but we have to see in that way. But it's a big area, getting protein, purifying it, then getting in a pure format, then establishing the functionality, then correlating with health benefits, then applying to the product sector, then positioning that product and marketing it. Then this is the path to success. The 5-6 segments are there. So people can do definitely.
And one also very general query about the oil. Whatever oil people are using. In one of your slides, I think you have covered this different oil seeds. So which are used. So there are a lot of adulteration in oil, especially you see, and oil and food products as well. So many people they say that lot of carcinogenic chemicals and other adulterants they are used in oil. So whatever oil people are using, what is the best oil in terms of nutrition?
Okay, everybody knows that if one has salad at home, their salad dressing, they put a pinch of olive oil, a little bit of olive oil. Olive oil is not good for cooking, okay? The frying capacity is different. Rice bran oil, is a frying capacity is very high. If you're talking about soybean oil or any other oil people are using, but I would suggest if you're like Indian food, our cooking method is different, and then Western food, their method is different. They don't fry anything; they bake it, they roast it. Okay, they are not using. But I have to use spices, then I have to fry with oil. So I have to see which one. And olive oil, even though I was using olive oil, so olive oil taste is different. I have bun and butter with some different kind of oil. Then I have to make a choice. This is a healthy oil. Whether go for sunflower oil or I go for sunflower oil. So these are the things we have to decide where we are going. Then you could rice bran oil. People are using rice bran oil nowadays. And if you are going for salad, you can put a drop of olive oil. So these things these are healthy oil. So coconut oil, some people are using paprika and other things. So you have to see where you are applying that thing.
Okay. Sir, now we are in the last of finishing this session, so just a formal introduction. We have done it. It is good that I think most of people they have interacted each other. And myself, I am Mrityunjay Shukla. I am in Department of Microbiology, and I am also the course coordinator for this GIAN program. So I think we have finished almost this session. So Raki, you can announce the formal close of this session, and we will be assembled tomorrow at 10. See, 9:45 please arrive here. Be ready because they will wait for you for some time.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. So with this, we come to the end of day 1 of the GIAN workshop. We have completed 2 lectures and 1 tutorial. Now we shall proceed for high tea. It's arranged at the same place where it was arranged earlier. So I hope good day for you. And tomorrow we'll reassemble here at 10 a.m. Thank you.